The wrestling world is once again in a complete meltdown, and it's all because of one person, Mercedes Moné. Just when you think things have calmed down, the CEO makes another move that has fans, wrestlers, and critics completely losing their minds. In today's video, we are going to be looking at what Mercedes Moné recently did to get such a reaction. Because you know it, and I know it. Mercedes Moné is someone that ignites controversy, whether it's her just standing in the middle of the ring or her talking in interviews or her newsletter. Now, Mercedes Moné has made a bold declaration about her position in pro wrestling, claiming something that fans don't like. Because if you're a WWE fan, she was controversial. If you're an AEW fan, she's controversial. Controversy and Mercedes Moné, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. They just do, right? Some people think she's overrated. Some people think that she's justifiable. Some people think she shouldn't be a belt collector. Some people think she should win more titles, right? There's just always back and forth, chitter chatter. And that is something in which Mercedes Moné and her fans have had to deal with for a very long time. Now, she captured the 2025 Owen Hart Foundation tournament, and she has earned her way to a AEW All In Texas championship match on July 12th, where she will face Toni Storm for the women's championship, something which she describes as a dream match. Now, Mercedes Moné's path to victory included notable wins over several top-tier talents. Now, her situation is very interesting, okay? If you look at what she said in her newsletter, she has declared herself the highest paid women's wrestler in the industry. Okay. And then she went and talked about her Owen Hart Foundation tournament wins, which we'll get to in a little bit. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the reason you clicked on this video. Mercedes Moné coming out and saying, hey, look at me. I'm the CEO, I'm the belt collector, I'm this person who is the biggest women's star in wrestling. Well, I would disagree with that statement. I think actually Rhea Ripley is the biggest star in women's wrestling. Becky Lynch has a very, very strong argument of that. But Mercedes Moné, yes, she is one of the top tier women's talents in all of pro wrestling. She can talk the part, she can act the part, she looks the part, she can work the part. The only problem is, in addition to Becky Lynch being a bigger star than Mercedes Moné, in addition to Rhea Ripley being a bigger star than Mercedes Moné, Mercedes Moné is not even the biggest star in terms of a woman in her own company. Toni Storm, in my opinion, for the last year, has not only been the biggest and most over women's star in all elite wrestling. I would go as far as stating that Toni Storm is one of the most over stars in all elite wrestling, and I don't think that's much of a debate. I really, really don't. I think Mercedes Moné is very, very good, and I think that she deserves to be paid very highly. And if that is the case, and she is the highest paid talent, I would not be surprised. I also don't think it's going to last because nothing does. But I would not be shocked to hear that, because you have to keep in mind, if you go back and you look at Mercedes Moné's journey, so she's in WWE for years and years and years. She walks out with Naomi due to creative differences. They're stripped of the women's tag team titles, and she negotiates her release. WWE did not want Mercedes Moné to walk, but Mercedes wanted to walk. Okay? So 2022 happens. Vince is gone. Triple H is running the ship, and she still left because she wanted to compete in Japan. And I think Triple H was like, look, she wants to go where Japan. She's not going to AEW. We can get her back, let her do her little renaissance, and we'll bring her back. So she goes, where's New Japan 2023? She has talks with AEW, and she has talks with WWE. She then gets hurt in the summer, okay? She then has additional talks with WWE and AEW. She is literally asking what WWE is willing to offer her. She's asking the exact same thing with AEW. Then she starts to use them as leverage. Okay, so look at it as like a ladder. WWE, AEW, WWE, AEW, and she's starting to just build up her contract offer. Now, WWE money was not the issue. She opted to go with AEW. And at the time, it was reported that Mercedes Moné was the highest paid female star in all wrestling. That includes being topped as Charlotte Flair. Do I believe that Mercedes Moné is the highest paid female star in all of wrestling? Yes, I do. The reason I say that is you have to look at the situation. When AEW signed Mercedes Moné, they were doing something very, very interesting. And it's kind of worked, but it hasn't worked out the way that I thought it was going to work. They wanted to rebuild their women's division, okay? Because they looked at it and they go, okay, we have these stars and some are over and some are not, but we're going to either reintroduce, we're going to bring in new stars, and we're going to revamp this division. So they brought back Britt Baker. They got Jamie Hayter back. They got Mariah May as a top star. They pushed Tony Storm as a top babyface. They got Mercedes Moné in there. They brought in Camille. They were using Soraya. And some of those names have either fallen off a cliff, Camille, left Soraya and Mariah May, or just not used in Britt Baker. Okay? And there is a ton of other talents that I just can't think of off the top of my head. Deonna Purrazzo, that was a big signing. They haven't done much with her. They use this continuous pattern of we're going to bring in someone, we'll use them initially, and then we'll just not use them unless we need a title program. And that's for the women. There's not a lot of serious secondhand feuds for these women, right? And here's the weirdest part. They will use undercard women talent for like a random tag team match on Collision rather than using their actual top female stars. It's bizarre. But anyway, when they signed Mercedes Moné, that's what they were doing. They were rebuilding its women's division. They were trying to make it bigger, better, and better. Right? Bigger, better than ever. Whatever you want to say. Someone will mock me in the comments for saying that. I digress. But that's what they were doing. And they were on the right track. Like, I like their signings. I like who they brought in. But it was just the execution, right? Like, you can come up with the greatest game plan in the world. You can have the best motivational tools in your arsenal. You can be ready, fired up, and ready to go. But if you're not willing to execute it, that plan will fall apart. And I feel like that's what AEW is literally fell apart. And they have not been able to get back on the wagon.